Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Let's get started with the Cavs. They were losing at home to the Mavericks in the fourth quarter last night, but they ended the game on a 21-6 run to pull out the win. LeBron struggled badly, going just 5 of 21 from the floor, but he still notched his 17th triple-double of the season, finishing with 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists. The Cavs have now won 8 of their last 9, and LeBron sounded somewhat optimistic about their future. Let's take a listen.
When it comes down to the postseason, we can be pretty good. I mean, I think so, but I mean, we don't know. I mean, listen, we lost our starting point guard last game, so we're trying to get everybody acclimated. Our head coach is still out, and that's going to take a little time getting back as well. So, I don't know what we're capable of doing. We haven't played a playoff game together. We got 4 guys from our championship team. Myself, JR, Tristan, and Kev. We got some playoff experience, but you don't know. It's a new season, so we see what happens.
He's back to Kev. Shannon, what did you make of LeBron's comments?
Well, Skip, he didn't lie. And because for whatever reason, we have yet to see this team fully healthy, starting 5 ready to go, and now they have a rotation in which who's going to be the first 3 or 4 guys coming off the bench. It seems like Tristan Thompson got hurt early on, and then Kevin Love missed time. And now we got our starting point guard who's out, George Hill. So this is what we know, Skip. If the playoffs started today, who are they starting? Probably Jose Calderon, LeBron James, and Kevin Love. Probably Rodney Hood would be at the 2. Who would be the other starter? And so he's saying until we get everybody back and we have our starting 5, and this is what we're going to go to battle with, and these are going to be the guys that's coming off the bench. Remember, Kyle Korver's been away for about 10 days. He's just not starting to come back. Jetty Osman, only his, second or third game back. So they've had injuries. They have yet to have an offense or a lineup they can say, okay, this is our starting lineup. And he mentioned the captain, the head coach. They're missing their head coach right now, Ty Lue.
No.
Stop.
Wait, LeBron's playing.
No.
Is he healthy?
LeBron is a player.
Oh.
That's
coach
what I need you to.
No,
he's not no player coach.
Yeah,
no, he's not. Bill Russell. I think Bill Russell was the last one to be a player coach. So you need to stop this.
I think Lenny Wilkins was, but go ahead.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah.
So until they find out who's going to be the starting 5, who's going to be the first 3 or 4 guys off the bench, there's some cause for concern. But the thing that helps me rest easy, besides the gummies I was on last night, Joy, is I got LeBron. I got him.
That's
nobody else has him.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
As long as I got old Bron.
Yep. Does Bron have Bron? I'm starting to wonder. I don't get this.
What don't you get?
We can be pretty good, I think.
Yeah. What you want him to say?
After what's happened in the East, the decimation that's gone on all around LeBron.
They've been decimated too.
They have not been decimated. Everybody's going to be back. George Hill sprained his ankle. He's going to be okay.
If Joel Embiid coming back.
is back with the team. He's just not serving as the head coach.
If Joel Embiid, will he come back?
I don't know.
Kyrie Irving
that
come
was
back?
A serious surgery that he went through.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
I had it.
Oh, well.
I was out 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, 3, 4. He's a basketball player. You're a football player. You know how that goes.
Yeah. So you trying to say Embiid tougher tonight?
I'm not sure he's going to rush back in 3 weeks. It could be 4 weeks. It could be 1 round of the playoffs, which could be the round of the playoffs for the Sixers. They could get eliminated in the first round without Embiid. And the Celtics are genuinely decimated because they do not have Kyrie, who had a pretty serious knee surgery, and it could be 3 to 6 weeks. He could miss at least a round of the playoffs.
Did you see all these teams they beat? They beat the Thunder. They beat the Jazz, who you love in the West. They beat Toronto. They smoking folks, even without Kyrie. So they looking pretty good to me, Skip.
You getting scared?
Scared of what?
Scared of Kyrie coming back.
You notice who I said they beat? I didn't mention that team in the Midwest, did I?
Okay. No,
okay.
You did not.
Okay.
No Marcus Smart, who is arguably their best perimeter defender, coming off the bench even. He's just a force off the bench, and you don't like me to bring up Daniel Tice, but he was a real factor in the rotation, and he's gone for the year. They have had huge injuries. They're still a really good basketball team, especially in the Eastern Conference. But this should be a cakewalk for LeBron James. And I'm just offended by him saying, we could be pretty good, I think. You think? So wait, 1 second you're telling us that you're playing at the highest level ever. Isn't that what he said last week?
He is.
Highest level ever.
He is, but it's not an individual sport. It is a team sport.
Who's the best player on the planet?
You know who it is.
Yeah, thank
Goes
you
without
much.
question.
Okay, so if it's without question, and he's in the Eastern Conference, and there's no Kyrie and no Embiid, what do you think's going to happen in the postseason? And don't bring me Toronto, as you call them, the baby dinosaurs, because we recently saw that as soon as they step on the floor with that beast in the East, that guy born December 30th, 1984 in Akron, Ohio, right?
Them dimes. He's letting them dimes go.
Yeah. Baby dinosaurs is what they turned back into. So I give them no shot against Cleveland. And so here's the greatest self-promoter in the history of basketball, LeBron James. As Steven Jackson here on Undisputed has said many times, he's the only superstar who has to tell you how great he is. So he's constantly telling us how great.
No, he needs you to tell him.
Oh, okay. So he's constantly, somebody's having to say how great he is, yet he won't say how great his team is. And you know why, and I know why, because he does not want to heap that pressure on himself going into the postseason. Because he doesn't want to have to live up to a team that should be the prohibitive favorite in the East, because that's pressure. That's team pressure that falls back on the best player on the planet's shoulders. You know it and I know it, but that's just vintage LeBron.
First of all, Gloria James put pressure on LeBron James when she gave him that very unique name. No other LeBron James currently exists in the world, not that I know of. So that was the pressure. Being on Sports Illustrated at 16 or 17, that's more pressure. Coming straight out of high school.
So just say it. We should be favored to win the East. He always talks about himself being the best, so why wouldn't he say his team is the best?
But he plays a team sport.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, so let me get this right.
So wait, is he suggesting he still doesn't have enough help? Is that where we're going?
You know what I mean, Joe?
Do we have a built-in excuse here? I just want to know. Help me out.
If you don't mind me asking, who's the best player in football this year? That'd be one Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why he didn't win the Super Bowl? The best player. If the best player that plays a team sport, he got to bring them home, Skip.
How many players start in football?
I don't know.
22 plus a punter and a kicker?
You told me
24?
You told me he's it didn't come down to a field goal kick. It didn't come down. You told me he threw for the most yards in playoff history.
5 on 5.
Oh, you told me the best player. It's a team sport.
Well,
and the best player on a team sport should always bring them home.
If he could have played defense or he could have coached the defense,
Well,
I think they may have gotten home.
They'd have lost by 45.
Yeah, he would have played Malcolm Butler.
How about this here? He had a chance to play receiver. How'd he do with that, Joy? Oh, you remember that? You know, whoa. How he fumbled that ball. And first of all, and you keep mentioning Marcus Smart.
He threw for a playoff record 505 yards.
And then after the game,
he was the MVP of the league.
And after the game, he came to my restaurant, had a cigar and a hot ale. That's what he had at my restaurant. And I'm tired.
Wait, do you know how many times LeBron has come to your restaurant and you have refused him service?
No.
5 times you have refused him service.
Wait a second.
That's ugly.
Why do you keep on mentioning Marcus Smart? Who is Marcus? I mean, come on, Skip. He's a role player. He's a
See what he did to James Harden that night? Remember that early season?
You remember what
he terrorized him.
Do you remember what LeBron did to him last year playoff? Okay. They could have Marcus Smart. They could have Maxwell Smart. I went to college with a guy named Tim Smart. Right. Go get him. He's a longshoreman. It doesn't matter. The Celtics don't want to see them. So you need to go ahead and give LeBron his credit. Like he had as Joy mentioned in the reads, he had a terrible night shooting the ball. But that's what happened when you're on stage singing suit and tie with old JT all night having shots. You see him come up on the stage, JT have another. Just dragging up shot him and Mav had a good old time. Because he knew what Mavs ain't nobody.
I'm impressed because LeBron finally figured out that he should have focused on triple-doubles a long time ago.
Stop it!
Well, look what he's doing. All of a sudden, he had 13 last year because Russ suddenly made it a thing. Like, no one thought about triple-doubles until a year ago when Russell Westbrook won the MVP by averaging a triple-double. Am I right?
You know what, Skip? I was not going to even bring up that, but I'm glad you did. Yeah. Do you know that Russell Westbrook, his first 3 years, when he played with James Harden, you know how many triple-doubles he had?
I think you're about to make my case. He discovered it. Russ realized, wait a second, I can win the MVP if I just average a triple-double.
Yeah, but
by the way, he's almost averaging one right now.
But what didn't he have? When you remove James Harden, you remove Kevin Durant. So you remove guys that can score, that can take the ball out of your hands, that can also assist the basketball. Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka can also rebound the ball. So now Russell Westbrook realizes it's basically just me and Steven Adams. If Big Adams doesn't get the rebound, who's going to do it? You Lieutenant Weinberg, Russell had a great responsibility, Skip Bayless. So LeBron James is saying, with no Tristan, with no Kevin Love, who's going to get the rebound? Zizic?
Is this team better than LeBron's team the first go-round in Cleveland? You always tell me it's like a bunch of G leaders.
For the fact they got Kevin Love. Yeah,
right?
Yes.
You know? Well, I think Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. and JR, I think they're way better than they were the first go-round, right?
Again, you're counting on guys, with the exception of Kevin Love, most of these guys have been role players. They come in, they provide a role. Now you're asking role players to play heavy minutes, to make major contributions on a team that's expected to get to and win the NBA Finals. That's what the expectations are when you play alongside LeBron James.
So, LeBron's first 7 years in Cleveland.
Yes.
He was really good, right?
Yeah.
You thought he was the best player on the planet maybe in year 2 or so? 2 or 3?
No, I give like three or four. He made after that.
So he was there for 7 total years, and he had a grand total of 28 triple-doubles in 7 years. That's an average of 4 a year. Then last year, when he discovered that the world loves triple-doubles, all of a sudden he had 13, and now he's got 17. He's climbing up the all-time list. He's past Larry Bird. He's all the way up to 6th, and he's going to get Wilt. He might get him sooner than later. He's 72 to 78 for Wilt.
Might get old Wilt.
Yeah.
But you pass Wilt, you pass Wilt on anything.
If you pass Wilt, you might as well pass MJ, right? That's what we'll hear. That's what I'll hear from you.
Hold up, Skip.
Right?
Skip.
So
We've
what
been
has
kicked up
happened
dirt
here?
on MJ.
In Miami, he didn't need to
No, because he had D-Wade.
Yeah, so
he had Chris Bosh.
4 years in Miami, and he had 9 total triple-doubles in Miami. And then he only had 2 the first year back in Cleveland when he went home.
Had Kyrie, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson.
And 3, the title year, he had 3 total, 82 games, 3 total triple-doubles. And then all of a sudden, boom, 13 last year. That was with Kyrie. I don't know what happened. Russ was doing it. He said, aha, the world loves triple-doubles. I got to refocus. I got to recalculate here.
But you say that, but Russell Westbrook's first 6 years in the NBA, he had 8 triple-doubles.
He discovered it last year. I told you he did. And I also predicted on this show he would average a triple-double.
You do realize Kevin Durant's last year in OKC, Russell Westbrook had 18 triple-doubles. That might be a reason why Kevin Durant left. Maybe he realized that Russ was more concerned with as you like to say, padding stats or stuffing the stat sheet than winning, so he hightailed it out of there. But Russ also realized in order for us to win, not only do I need to score, let's throw the scoring aside. I need to rebound the basketball. I need to put guys in position to score easy buckets because I don't have anybody that can take somebody off the dribble. Victor Oladipo looks like a different guy, but he has the ball in his hands a lot more in Indy than he did in OKC. So
I don't know why in those first 7 Cleveland years he should have averaged triple-doubles every year.
Well,
he didn't have any help.
Why didn't Russell Westbrook average it? Why in his first 6 years he only had 8?
How are we putting Russell Westbrook in the same sentence with a 6'9", 280-pound LeBron James?
He's not 280, Skip.
All right. He was. At one point, he was 280.
We can neither
Maybe in
confirm
some
nor
of these
deny
years,
this.
280.
There's nothing to confirm or deny. No. I'm just going by what he's told me.
I'm just saying
he was 255.
He was an all-time terror playing at an even higher level.
What you mean he was?
He was.
What you mean was?
Just physically, he was more of a terror than because now he doesn't play any defense. So it's all offense now, and that's fine.
If you were an English major in Vanderbilt. Right?
310th in defensive win shares.
Weren't you English major?
Yeah.
So was is what? Past tense. You said he was a terror, meaning that he's no longer is. I need you to use present tense. He is.
Who do you think was more physically gifted? Who was better overall? That first LeBron or this LeBron in year 15?
I mean, I can't tell the difference.
Remember that 48-point game against Detroit?
I mean, I'm looking at old photos of Amon when she was modeling on Ebony Magazine and Vogue. I can't tell the difference when she was 28 or when she's 62 now. So when you look at LeBron James as a 25-year-old and LeBron James as a 33-year-old, you can't tell the difference. He's thinning on top a little bit, but that's okay. That happens from time to time. There ain't nothing to get all upset about. He's still giving folk the business.
Yeah. So now to what I'm most offended about so far on this show is you celebrating as we opened the show, and I believe you were celebrating.
What I'm celebrating?
800 and what's he up to?
68.
68.
Yeah.
But really, it was 67 that passed Michael Jordan on Friday night against Anthony Davis and the Pelicans in LeBron's house. 867 past Michael Jordan. Can you please explain to me how you can put any stock in that, please? Because you can't put any stock in.
So why the hell?
It's thoroughly, as I tweeted, it's thoroughly unimpressive.
First of all, Skip, then why did Michael Jordan have it? If the records are unimportant, we don't need to catalog them.
It was never a record. Nobody even knew what it was until some obscure statistician seized upon it. Some blind witness LeBron lover seized upon it last week as, aha, here it is. This is why LeBron's better than Michael.
And you know what?
How?
You know what, Joe? And we're going to let it go back to being obscure. But you know who's first on that obscure list of the most consecutive games with at least 10 points or more? LeBron James. I don't want to mention it anymore.
Okay.
And see, Skip, you can't say, well, if he had played. This is what we know. He took a year and a half off. He took 2.5 more years off.
He took a year and 3/4 off the first time.
A year and 3/4.
Yeah. Missed 65 games out of 82.
We don't, Skip,
the second year.
And this is what happens when you play sport. I guarantee you, who thought UConn women would not only lose would not win the national championship? Funny things can happen, Skip. There are a lot of guys. You can get attacked. You can twist the ankle. You can get poked in the eye in the first quarter. But see, this is not a games played, because a lot of games a guy control out there and say, oh, man, that joker like AC Green played all those games. LeBron not only played all those games, Skip, but he's been very, very exemplary in all of those games.
Okay. So here's the point for all you blind witnesses out there. Michael Jordan, in the prime of his career, was forced to take a sabbatical for 1 full year plus 65 games of the next year. That's 82 plus 65. That's a lot of games right there in your prime. Would he have scored 10-plus points in all those games? I think he would have.
You don't never
Since he averaged 30 a game, I'm pretty sure he would have.
No, Skip, but hold on. Do you realize that Wilt Chamberlain also averaged 30 points a game, and he had 30 games in which he didn't score double figures?
Michael played 82 full games in a season.
Yeah.
What was it, like 8 or 9 times his career?
Yeah,
So I
commend him.
Okay, so then Michael willingly chose to go into early retirement because his coach got run out of Chicago by the two Jerrys, Reinsdorf and Krause, and he took off his age 35, 36, and 37 years, which were his 14th, 15th, and 16th years. So now LeBron's in his 15th. So Michael missed 14, 15, and 16. He chose to do it just out of protest.
So we're going to hold that against Skip. If it's so, let me ask you a question.
And wait, let me finish this, because the 3 previous years to the 3 that he willingly chose to just retire prematurely, he led the NBA in scoring and played 82 games in all 3 of those, and that would be the 96, 97, and 98 seasons. 82 games and led the league in scoring. What do you think would have happened in the next 3 seasons? He would have scored 10-plus points a game for 82, 82, and 82 more. That's what would have happened.
No,
so he would have gotten up to
that's
around.
Speculation.
That's not speculation.
Yes, it is.
It's just what it would have been.
No, it wouldn't.
It's just what
Skip,
what history would tell you.
Skip, we can't definitively say that.
He'd be 1,200 now, and I would be laughing at your 868 or whatever it is.
He would be. But he's not. That's LeBron's obscure record.
So
I don't even want to talk about 868 because it's meaningless.
Okay,
But Bron got it.
Is it any reason to say that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan? How? Help me out. Give me some logic here.
That's not what we're talking about at this time. There'll be a time and a place that you and I will be able to sit back and we'll just discuss LeBron and Michael. But right now,
I'm discussing it right now.
The record. LeBron has the record. Now, you can be all upset and sling snot over there and crying like a little 3-year-old that didn't get Easter eggs.
Okay.
But LeBron got that obscure record. Now, you need to suck it up.
Thank you. You just call it obscure because it's not even a record. It's just some kind of a mark.
You think Bron care about that? His name ain't it, though.
Yeah, he cares a lot about it.
No, he don't.
Didn't he tweet about it?
But you know what? This is what I want people to understand. If that record is so easy, why didn't Larry Bird score double figures in every single point? Why hasn't Kevin Durant scored double figures? Some of the greatest scorers, from George Gervin to Alex English, some of the greatest scorers of all time.
You can't put any of them in the same sentence with Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's why.
Well, you can't put Michael Jordan in the same sentence as LeBron because he done passed him. He done run past him. So all the fastest men in the world have to take a back seat to one Usain Bolt. So Michael Jordan, when it comes to this category right here, you got to take a back seat. It's okay.
Yep.
I mean, you still in the car.
Shannon,
you just ain't driving no more.
Okay. The only number that matters is 6-0 with 6 MVPs, and that's Michael's record in the NBA Finals. The only record that matters for your guy is 3-5 in the NBA Finals.
And Michael can't do anything about that.
Yep.
We can add, or we can add to the win column. We can add to the loss column. This is what we know. And what burns you up is that he's still going strong. He shows no sign of slowing down.
No, he doesn't, except on defense. He doesn't play defense anymore.
Good. Neither does James Harden. Neither does Dame Lillard. Neither does Russ Westbrook. So, and I don't hear nobody talk about, oh, they don't play. Don't worry about that. He has more important, he has bigger fish to fry right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Spurs play defense. They're number one defense in basketball.
Well, how about the Spurs players led by Tony Parker and their head coach? We're going to talk about this later. Stop trying to guilt Kawhi. Whenever his team says he's going to be ready to play.
Guilt him.
Yeah, they are.
They're just cutting the cord.
Cut it.
See you later.
Cut it. I bet they offer him max contract this summer.
No, I hope not.
Yeah,
I'm done.
You're going to be done all your
I'm out.
Yeah.
Trade him for LeBron.
LeBron, you better stop. Bro, I'm celebrating the moment, me and Bron. Because we got something up our sleeve. Wait till you see it, Skip.
Yeah, LeBron needs to moonwalk to the Riverwalk.
Hold on. You want LeBron now.
Well, you can have Kawhi. I got to get rid of Kawhi.
Are you celebrating LeBron shooting 5 for 21?
Oh, it happens sometimes. Hold on. Even
he got his trip dub, though, right?
Hold on.
Are you just trying to start everybody off on Monday on a high note?
He's 5 of 21. Even an alley cat will find a whole chicken in the trash. Even your brother has burned something, dumped it in the trash. Alley cat come along like, wow, what a nice meal to him. So everybody, even the greatest chef.
No mercy. Next up, ESPN reported that Rob Gronkowski is pretty certain he'll play next season and will likely stay with the Patriots as long as Tom Brady is under center. But reports also indicate there is lingering frustration between Gronk and Bill Belichick, and other members of the Patriots leadership also have issues with Gronk. Belichick has reportedly questioned whether Gronk is all in on football after retirement rumors and cryptic comments on social media. Shannon, what's going on here?
Gronk is changing. It's hard for me to believe that Coach Belichick is anything other than what he's been since he's been in New England, because he learned early on, Skip, this is how he was going to do business. And Coach Belichick doesn't care about anything else. When you come to that building, whatever the name is, I don't know the name of it, but when you go there, it's all about winning.
Yep.
And you are a small part. You check your ego, you check your attitude, you check your personality at the door. They strip all that away from you. And you realize that, Skip, when you go there, you're going to win. Coach Belichick suppresses most things about you. Because when you hear these guys talk, it's so methodical, it's so mechanical, it's the same thing. It's like he heard what you said and he's repeating it, and then he heard what he said that he said, and he's repeating that. Gronk is looking at it like, dude, I work out hard, let me have a little fun. And Coach Belichick has said, no, this is the way we do it here at New England. Now, you can do it this way, or you can move on down the road. But there is no alternative to the way Coach Belichick is going to run this football team. Gronk seems to want more privileges because he's a lot. Man, look here. I've said this before, Skip. It's hard for me to believe. I believe Rob Gronkowski is the most dominating football player that doesn't play the quarterback position in all of football. Now, you're going to get some pushback, maybe Aaron Donald, maybe a Von Miller. But on the offensive side of the football, it's not close. He's the most dominant non-quarterback on the offensive side of football. It's not close. And he's looking at that like, man, I see Antonio Brown celebrating. I see all these guys doing all these other things. And all I can do is this. I can't really let my personality show unless it's off the field. And I guess Coach Belichick, to a certain degree, I'm sure Coach Belichick has a problem with that. Because Coach Belichick wants everybody button up, all football. He wants you to think when you home, he wants you to be watching tape or thinking football, because that's what he's doing. But Gronk's not wired like that. Gronk's not built like that. And Gronk wants to have more freedoms and liberty while he's in that locker room, and that's not going to fly with Coach Belichick.
Yep.
So you might as well just go ahead and suck it up. And what do you want? What means more to you? Being who you want to be or winning? Because in New England, I don't believe it's hard for me to believe that you can do both.
So I hear everything you just said. And the bottom line is, I'm not saying that Rome has fallen up in Foxborough, but Rome is teetering. And by the day, it teeters a little bit more, and it's about to fall. And the only man who can stop it from falling is the owner of the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft. Think of the run that he's had as the owner of the Patriots. Think about this. So remember, they had the one Super Bowl appearance early on in his tenure, remember? So that was with Drew Bledsoe.
96.
Yep. And so that means that over 22 seasons, Robert Kraft has gone to 9 Super Bowls. Think of that run. 9 and 22?
Never be
It's unheard of. It's just
never to be duplicated.
And that means that 9 times he was a guest of honor at a Super Bowl site for a whole week.
Yes.
He got to throw parties featuring Elton John like he did the other 2 Super Bowls ago.
Elton John, Rick Ross,
you
Snoop
name
Dogg.
Name them. They all came for Mr. Kraft. So he's had the best of the best. He's had the greatest run in pro football you could argue any owner has ever had.
Absolutely.
And now he's faced with a huge decision because I think before this is over, he's going to have to make a call. Is it Brady or is it Belichick? And it's ironic that a man who has no background in football whatsoever, who merely just had enough money to buy. That's all. That's all he did. He made his money in razor blades, effectively, that he had the capital to buy the New England Patriots. And he took them over as the owner, and then all of a sudden you're forced to make football decisions, and now you might have to choose between the greatest quarterback ever and what many call the greatest coach ever. And you are who? You're just Bob Kraft, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what just happened? We're having reports that a star has issues with Bill Belichick. Since Belichick's run started with Brady in 2001, have we ever had a story in which any star had even, reported issues? Not one. You can go back because they haven't had that many stars because there's been a lot of cogs.
You don't hear a whole lot of players, Skip. Forget the stars. You don't hear even Ocho Cinco, when he got there and everybody had high expectations, he had nothing bad to say about Coach Belichick.
Nope.
He said it just didn't work.
Right. Did Randy Moss ultimately have some problems? It never seemed to be with Coach Belichick. It just seemed like Randy just had issues. Whatever. Yeah, he wanted money. And finally, Belichick said, that's enough. After that Monday night game down in Miami, he said, you are gone.
Yes.
He traded him. And there have been a couple of other malcontents that he would try for a while, and then he would cut bait pretty quickly. Corey Dillon would be one. But in general, any of his stars, certainly Tom Brady, has never publicly or privately, to my knowledge, had any issues that have been reported with Belichick until now.
Right.
So now we have an issue. We have Rob Gronkowski. He's even tweeting to Danny Amendola about you be free, have fun. Now you can go have fun somewhere because we don't have fun in New England.
Like he was tweeting like Danny Amendola just got off the farm. He escaped.
Yeah.
So now he's no longer in prison and you left me behind. Skip, Gronk is looking at it like, look, and we know Gronk has outperformed this contract.
Yep.
He signed this contract with his injury history, and it seemed like a lot of money at the time. But Gronk has outperformed this contract.
Yep.
But let me tell you what the crux of this is, Skip. Take it from a guy that played 14 years. When you're young, I played with Dan Reeves, who was my former coach for 3 years, who was as old school as it came.
I know Dan very well, and you are right.
And we had pads.
He's in that Gruden mold of old school.
We had pads on Wednesday, Thursday, and we had on shoulder pads, and we would goal line.
Yep. Obviously, Dan played for Coach Landry.
Tom Landry. Yep. So he's old school.
Yep.
Skip, when you're young, your first couple of years in the league, that doesn't bother you.
You just don't know any different.
But guess what happens as you start to get older, Skip? And they said, okay, you practicing today, and you're in year 8, you're in year 9, you're in year 10. That start like, hold on, bro. Dude, I know to play. Can I get a day off? And Coach Belichick says, no.
When did Shannon take over for?
Shanahan took over in 95. So I had 3 years of Coach Reeves, 2 years of Wade, and then here come Mike. And Mike,
you were lucky to have Mike.
Yes.
Because he was more enlightened than those other guys.
He came in with that 49er system, and we didn't have on pads, but basically one day out the week, if we did like we were supposed to when we had those pads on. But as you get older, Skip, it gets harder and harder to put those pads on in year 10, year 9, year 10, especially when you're looking at it from a Patriots standpoint, Skip, because they're playing into the seat, deep into the playoffs every single year. And remember, up to the Super Bowl, Patriots had on shoulder pads. Eagles didn't have on no pads, and that's what Coach Belichick believes in. And that's starting to wears on an older player. That's what Gronk is like, come on, Coach.
Obviously, Gronk and his feelings are connected closely to Brady and his feelings. And if on a daily basis he's starting to see Tom Brady be unhappy, it's going to rub off on Gronk, who's the life of the party.
Correct.
You know him well. And at some point, if it's not any fun anymore, he wants out. So what caught my ear about, again, this was a report from people close to Gronkowski, that this is the key line, that he only wants to play in New England next year if Tom Brady is going to play quarterback next year in New England. Well, I think it's next year he's talking about. So has he talked to Brady this offseason and gotten some indication that Brady also thinks it's not fun anymore and he just might decide not to come back next year?
Well, hold on. Joy, haven't you heard this? Winning is fun. Nobody in the history of the NFL has won more than the New England Patriots, be it regular season or playoff games. And all of a sudden, I thought winning was the greatest deodorant. It cures all the smell of what's going on outside or even inside.
Yeah, winning is fun. Winning is also very hard.
Yeah, winning is fun.
So once you've done a little bit of winning, you might want to have a little bit of fun.
No, it ain't no fun. Ain't no fun. He grind.
You may think that you want to have a little bit of fun until you get somewhere where they lose a lot, and then you realize
you having fun. Well, you having a good time. You turn the cartwheels. They got clowns and elephants, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a minute. We ain't winning no games here? Then you want to go back to that. I commend Mike because he saw the line. When it was time to work, it was time to work.
Mike Shanahan.
But he let us have fun. Brian Billick, I mean, we just had us a good old time. We just had us a good old time. He's like, hey, I got a veteran ball club. Our job as vets, myself, Rod, Jonathan Ogden, Ray to a certain extent, was to make sure the younger guys.
Did you just minimize Ray Lewis?
No, but Ray was young. I was in my 12th year. Woody was in his 15th year. So he didn't have the seniority that, he didn't have the seniority that we had.
But he was Ray Lewis.
Yeah, he was Ray Lewis. But we got to sit in first class. He got to get on back there. If you had 10 years or more, we got to sit in first. If you didn't, get in the back. So guess what? When Ray got on the plane, guess where he went? Ray Lewis, defensive player of the year, MVP, got to the back.
You know what I would have done?
What?
I would have gone up to Shannon Sharp and just tapped him on the shoulder and said, I'm sorry, this seat is mine.
Man, I wish Ray would have minded. I wish Ray would. But hold on, Skip. Do you realize hold on, you make it seem like I was just old.
You were just along for the ride on that flight.
You make it seem like I was Dwayne Allen or something.
Well,
I was an accomplished player.
Dwayne Allen, you were about in that category.
Yeah.
He caught one ball a game, right? Yeah.
No, he caught one ball in the regular season.
I know, he caught one hole.
I caught a few but that was just the thing, though, Skip. It's hard. And as you get older, man, being in all those meetings, that's why I commend Tom. Tom says he loves meeting. That was the thing that I hated the most. I just wanted to be in the locker room joking, on the practice field joking. Just get me to the locker room, to the practice field, and I was good. Man, those meetings, okay, you got a offensive meeting, and then you got a individual meeting, and you got special teams meeting. I mean, I'm tired of all this meeting.
I mean, you got a lot of big, hard-headed egos going on here, clashing, and after a while, that stuff wears down.
And to me, at some point, Robert Kraft is going to have to pick Brady or Belichick, period, end of story. Not to just say, no, you've got to trade Jimmy G.
Right.
Somebody's going to have to go because somebody's going to want out. And I think it could be Tom Brady saying, Mr. Kraft, just let me go somewhere else and finish. That's where we're headed with this.
It sounds like Robert Kraft's trying to play both sides. And when you have egos this big, it doesn't. Somebody's going to make you make a choice.
What he's trying to do, he's hoping one of them saying, I'll go away.
Yeah,
it's like in a relationship where you're like, I sure hope she says okay, she ready to go. I hope he says he's ready to go, and nobody wants to say it, but it's okay.
And
good.
Maybe they're both kind of trying each other to force that from happening.
Sounds like it.
No mercy.
The Raiders made a surprise move on Friday when they cut former All-Pro punter Marquette King. Reports out of Oakland say Jon Gruden parted ways with King because of issues with his personality. King became a fan favorite thanks to his celebrations and dancing after punts, but former coach Jack Del Rio also had issues with King's antics after he picked up taunting and celebration penalties back in 2016. King is the latest victim of Gruden's roster overhaul this offseason. Shannon, what's going on with Gruden?
Apparently, Gruden didn't like Marquette King's attitude or personality. Seems to me Jon Gruden is the only one that can have an attitude or personality with that Chucky, those snarls that he plays up on the sideline. It's hard for me to believe a man that Jon Gruden has never met, and he's being able to judge this man by what he sees on television. Skip it. That's a punter. I get it. And he's not a quarterback or wide receiver or defensive guy. But don't you think Jon Gruden could have gone to Marquette King and said, look, son, we need you to cut down some of these these antics. Mm-hmm. I think he could have gone to him, and I think Marquette King would have said, you know what, okay, coach, no problem.
He could have, yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. So Marquette King seems to be the problem, his personality. Now, the Raiders finished 26th in pass defense. They were 23rd in scoring offense, 29th in turnover margin, but the punter that had the third best net average in the NFL, he was the problem. That's the issue, Marquette King. Mm-hmm. I don't like anything that the Raiders have done this offseason. First and foremost, you know what that is, Skip. Hiring that guy. Mm-hmm. Because I believe the time has passed them by.
Yep.
And to make $10 million on what? Because he's Y2 banana? Mm-hmm. Or he can call some play and get...
Y2 spider banana.
Yeah.
Don't leave out the spider.
Spider's an important part.
How about this here? It's called flow pass. That's all it is. It's flow pass. You can put all that other stuff on it. It's flow pass right, flow pass left.
That is exactly true.
And so I don't get it, Skip. I don't get it. Okay, you save $1 million.
Yep.
$1 million. You were about to have Ndamukong Suh come visit you. So that means you had interest in talking to him, or you wanted him, but he at the last second said, no, I'm good. But it's just hard for me to believe that this man's antics, you couldn't have talked to him and says, I don't need these unsportsmanlike, these taunting penalties.
Yep.
Skip, the guy put at least every year is putting 15, 20 punts inside the 20, making teams have to travel the long way in order to score points. And believe me, teams didn't seem to have a problem scoring points against your defense. But that's okay. We good. He'll look good. He won't be able to get number 7 in the blue and orange, but he'll get another number. He's going to go right up to Denver and hang him up there about 60 yards.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen.
You going to put in a call for him? Or?
I let it be known I tweeted it.
Oh, you tweeted it?
I did.
Oh.
Said I hope the Broncos sign it.
Nobody noticed, but it's...
Oh, they did notice. Oh, you got jokes. You got jokes this morning, okay?
So, Jon Gruden is no joke. And I'm going to tell you again, this is the guy I know, the Gruden I know. That guy on Monday Night Football, he turned on the charm. That's not the real Jon Gruden. That guy really cleaned up his act. That Jon Gruden on Monday Night Football up in the booth, that guy sanitized his language and his opinions of a lot of football players that he now has some control over as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And I was around Gruden in Oakland. Man, he created a force field. I know a lot of people who know Gruden, who followed him all the way up. And remember, Gruden's dad was an assistant football coach under Dan Devine at Notre Dame. Remember the Joe Montana Cotton Bowl game in which he came off the training table with hypothermia to lead, I think it was the most sensational, improbable comeback I have ever witnessed on a football field. And I was there that day, and it was below zero wind chill at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And John was on the sideline, but his father made him go sit in the bus because he was about to freeze to death. But John grew up in football, watching his father coach, and then his father became a pro scout for a number of NFL teams. So that's his background. Then he fought his way up the ranks, small college, big college. Then, as you know, Packers, Eagles, Raiders.
He was my brother's position
he
coach
was,
at Green
that's
Bay.
Right. That's a good one. And he was highly respected as a boy wonder offensive mind. And so here he comes with real old school mentality, And the first thing he's going to look at, and I agree with you, he should have given Marquette King just a chance. He should have sat with him just for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Just give him a chance. Look in his eyes. Just look in his eyes and see what you see. But Jon Gruden is so old school that he is just offended by any punter who wants to become a media star or an internet star. See Chris Cluey, Pat McAfee, Steve Weatherford, any of those kind of guys. Like the punter to him is to be seen and not heard from at all.
Okay.
And they are expendable and they are replaceable. And I enjoyed Marquette King because I think he's really good at what he did.
Yes.
And Marquette didn't want to become a media star off the field as much as he just wanted to be himself on the field.
Right.
And I was good with that because did he self-promote off the field or try to become a big star? He did not.
No.
Those other guys I just named, they did. And what happened to Brad Wing, close friend of Odell's?
Right.
Gone, right? Because they're just expendable. So, look, Jon Gruden wants to be Bill Belichick, my way or the highway.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, this guy, he is a force field for better or for worse. He has high burnout factor on his players because for a while it'll really work because he creates tension in the locker room, like what they call creative tension, where everybody's going to be on pins and needles and they're going to take their game up a couple of levels because of that. But he wants to be that Belichickian where everybody's afraid of him. And I witnessed a couple times Jon in screaming matches with the great Al Davis. He would go, this was the owner and the legend of the Oakland Raiders at that point, and Jon was a very young coach, and he just screaming at him. And as you know, he finally forced a trade that he got traded to Tampa.
Yeah, well, help me understand, Skip. His whole while in Tampa, how many times did they have a top 5 offense?
Well, what happened? Look what happened. Jon built that team with help from Al, obviously, but he built that team that got tuck ruled in Foxborough.
Yes.
And that team was really loaded and had a chance to go win the Super Bowl. I'm not sure that team with that coach could have beaten the St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf. Belichick could because he had the defensive.
It might have been close because you remember, Skip, that 13-12 game. When Tampa lost it the first year to the greatest show on turf.
They did.
That was a heck of a game.
Right, so that was Gruden at his peak in Oakland.
Yes.
And then the team that he built, then Callahan took it over the next year, Bill Callahan, and then they lost to Gruden in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So that was the height of Jon Gruden and the height of Jon Gruden. And then after that ended and he needed to go find another quarterback, couldn't find one. So his only positive right now is he inherits a Derek Carr.
Right.
Who
I'm
don't
still
know.
out on.
Yep.
Still, I don't.
I cannot argue with you on that because I haven't seen enough over the last year or so. I know he's been hurt, but I'm not sure.
I saw that one year in which he got MVP consideration, but I saw the years before and I saw last year.
Yep.
And that's not the consistency that you need in order for you to go to where you think you can go.
Yep.
But I'm just trying to. What in Tampa though, Skip? He have a top 5 offense in Tampa. He had a top 5 offense. Top 10 offense in Tampa. No.
Nope. Couldn't find a quarterback.
Why can't he? That's Jon Gruden.
They had like 14 different quarterbacks.
Joey, hold on, Skip. With all the tape that he watches and all those guys that come in, Jon Gruden can't find a quarterback. Now, so is he watching the tape or what? Or is it Gordon Ramsay? Is he watching reruns of the cooking show? Because if he is watching as much tape as he said he is, he should be able to find a quarterback, Skip. Oh, it's more to it than being, snarling on there and having all these antics that you see. But look, Marquette, don't worry about it because he's from the crib. He's from Macon. He went to Fort Valley. We used to beat the brakes off Fort Valley when I was at Savannah State. Yeah, blow the doors off them. That's before not when they had Greg Lord and Eddie Anderson. We didn't beat them then.
But Macon wasn't your crib.
Well, it's close. I mean, that's in between. It's right there near Atlanta. It's close. I mean, Georgia boy.
You're going to claim it?
Georgia.
Okay.
We claim, like
Texas.
Texas.
A long ways from there. I don't like the whole state your crib.
Florida boys claim Florida. Texas claimed Texas. We claim Georgia.
All right.
But he went to Fort Valley, so
did.
he HBCU. But I believe Jon Gruden, if he goes to this young man and says, enough, we can't have unsportsmanlike penalties. Because I get it. Because when your defense is bad, the last thing you need for them to do is to have to cover less field. You want them to cover more.
Yep.
So just go to him and says, enough. I believe Marquette King would have said, okay. But that's not the route he chose.
Not the route he chose.
But Marquette gonna look good without.
Okay.
Can you imagine them booming puffs and that thin air mile high? Woo!
And that would make Jon look bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the whole purpose.
Well, by the way, on paper right now, it looks to me like the Raiders are the 4th best team in this division, right?
Good luck with Marshawn.
Yeah.
Good luck with Beast Mode.
Okay. Well, good luck with that defense.
Yeah.
Good luck with a lot of things. But I watched what Gruden could do, and I'm going to say it one more time. He created the greatest force field of energy I've seen this side of what Jimmy Johnson did early on in Dallas, 91, 2, 3, 4. In there, he didn't make it to 94, 93.
Yeah.
So that he is like Jimmy Johnson, but I don't think he's quite in Jimmy's class as an overall coach. But if he can break through early, he will break through. And I just still have this gut feeling he'll break through, even though I can't do it on paper because they are the 4th best team. But I'm not going to bet against him for a short run. And it's only going to be short. But you would like him for a little while if you were playing for him.
What you mean short?
Well,
that man got a 10-year, $100 million. He better play that. He better coach that contract out.
No, what happened was it took that kind of contract to lure him out of the Monday night booth, but it's really a short-term contract because I believe Al Davis's son just wanted to get Gruden for a short haul and hoped that the window was about that open and that great things could happen in that little bit of space right there. And that's what's about to happen.
For $100 million?
Yeah, that's what you paid him.
I'd offer Coach Belichick $150 and try to lure him from New England.
I think he's on the market right now. That's just me.
Horrible right now.
I'd have gave Coach Belichick $150.
Well, the expectations for Jon Gruden certainly aren't low with that contract. No mercy. Could we be getting closer to a Floyd Mayweather's Octagon debut? This weekend, TMZ asked Dana White about the possibility of Floyd coming to UFC, and Dana seemed optimistic. Let's take a listen.
Floyd seems pretty serious about fighting. It says 6 to 8 weeks. How close do you think we are to getting him a fight?
I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know. I'm interested. And obviously, he's interested. So the last time we were both interested, you saw what happened.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, do you think Conor will be his first fight, or do you have a preference?
Who knows? But yeah, possibly Conor. Yeah. I know Conor wants it.
Whew.
Shannon, does the fight seem more likely after Dana's comments?
Did you hear that?
No.
Yes.
It does not, and it's not going to happen. Floyd Mayweather is 41 years of age. It's hard for me to believe a former professional athlete of one sport at 41 picks up this, MMA, a full contact sport, as a hobby or something to do. Normally athletes, Joy, when they retire from one sport, to keep those competitive juices flowing, they start playing golf and they start playing for money. They don't go join MMA. Now, if you didn't notice, Tony Ferguson just pulled out of a fight with Khabib, because why, Skip? He got injured in training. Now, Tony Ferguson is a professional MMA fighter, and he got hurt. Max Holloway is having to fill in. Max Holloway is the 145 champ. This is for the 155 title.
The boxers get hurt also.
They don't get hurt like this.
Well, Manny Pacquiao busted his shoulder up sparring.
No, stop it, Skip.
Well, he did.
No, he didn't.
He wrecked his shoulder, needed surgery the day after the Floyd fight.
So what happened with Jeff Horn?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. But anyway, this is not in Floyd's wheelhouse. He for 20-year span, since he became a professional athlete, he's been the most dominant player, the most dominant athlete in the last 2 decades. And it's not close because he's unbeaten and untied in 50 attempts. But if he thinks for 1 second he can step outside of that and get into that octagon and think he's going to beat anybody, I'm talking about the 131st ranked MMA guy in his weight class, it's not even worth it. I know you want it because you want payback. You want retribution for what he did to Carl. I know you. You would just love it.
I just want to watch it.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you want somebody
I pay
to
a lot of money.
I know you would.
Yeah.
But you're not paying money because you love the sport. You're paying money because you want to see somebody carry Floyd. And it's not going to happen because Floyd's not going to give you all the satisfaction.
You know what I learned early on right here on Undisputed when we launched this show? I learned never to bet against Dana White because I didn't believe the boxing match would ever happen.
I did.
I did not. And Dana kept saying, better listen, better listen. I think it's going to happen. And I kept saying, nah, there's no way. And it happened. And now he's doing it again. Now my ears are wide open. I'm going to take Dana White to the bank because he's one of those guys you should take to the bank. When he says what he said to TMZ, just there on the sidewalk, no big deal, but when he says, I'm interested, and obviously he, as in Floyd, is interested, okay? Last time, said Dana White, we were both interested. You saw what happened. Yeah, we did. It happened.
Dana became interested because early on he wasn't interested. You know what he said, Joy? I got a better chance of being the backup at the Super Bowl behind Tom Brady in this fight going off. It wasn't until when Floyd Conor said, I'm going to make this fight happen, and he saw what he can make on the back end because he was going to have to make some money. But you know what, Skip Bayless? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You want somebody to get punished because they punished your guy because he opened his mouth. If Conor McGregor had left well enough alone, we wouldn't be here. He the one that talking about he's the baddest man. He can take on boxing. He can beat Floyd Mayweather.
He did a good job. He hung in there for 10 rounds.
Floyd toyed
10 rounds?
Floyd yo-yo with it.
10 rounds?
Yo-yo with it.
Geppetto. Wait a second. No, that's how you feel.
No, that's what Geppetto was doing to him. Floyd Mayweather was Geppetto.
Really? Okay. How did he let him last for 10 rounds?
Let him.
Wow.
Let him run out of steam.
Dana said after the fight, man, Conor gave a great account of himself to hang in that long with somebody as skilled as Floyd Mayweather Jr.
You do realize alligators and crocodiles, they don't kill their prey. What do they do to them, Skip? How do they kill them? They drag them to the deep, and they drown them. That's how they do it.
They just swallow them whole.
No. They drown them. No. Oh no. They take them out there. When you see them take those wildebeest or those zebras that come to the watering hole, and they grab them and they take them out there to the deep, Joe, and they spin over and over and over. Sometimes they're trying to tear limbs apart because when it's multiple, that's what they do. But they get them out there to the deep, and so that's what his dad told him to do. He said, son, take all that punishment. Just keep coming forward. Get him out to the deep. See, everybody talk about they can swim, Joy. Oh, they're in the pool? Yeah, I can swim. Dump them overboard. Come on, man, stop playing, Sean. Stop playing. That's what happened. And that's what's going to happen with Conor McGregor in the boxing ring. But that's what would happen to Floyd McGregor in the Octagon. Stay in your Skip. It's okay. Why do you want this to happen? Why would look at me, Skip Bayless? Yeah, because you wanted to happen because you.
This is going to happen. I don't want it to happen. It's just going to.
You want to see him.
I want my $1,000 back from Floyd Sr. We're going to bet double or nothing on this fight.
Well, I tell you what, I give you $1,000 then.
You'll give me $1,000 so you can avoid the humiliation of having to watch this?
Yes. Because I don't want it.
Why don't you have more faith in your
No, because that's not Floyd's expertise. If it was if he wants to step up in class and fight Woodley, if he wants to step up and go fight St. Pierre, okay then. Now we talking about something. But I don't want to see somebody that's not his expertise. He's never done this before.
Shannon Sharp.
What?
Bottom line, Floyd Mayweather Jr. addicted to two things: fame and fortune.
Yes.
And nothing in his whole long 40 going on 2-year-old life would ever give him as much fame and fortune as fighting Conor McGregor in the Octagon, because it would be the biggest one-on-one sporting event in the history of the world. You know it and I know it, because UFC has arrived. It has eclipsed boxing, and they made $300 million and $100 million. $300 to Floyd and $100 to Conor. Think of that. I just spit out those terms.
Yes.
But $300 million Floyd got? For how long did that fight last? 10 rounds?
30 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes. He got $300 million for 30 minutes, and as Dana will tell you, nobody ever has enough money, and as Dana will tell you, because he worked for Floyd early in his career, nobody spends money faster than Floyd Mayweather Jr. So,
well, go box,
can you imagine the buildup to this? It would be nuclear. It would be all you would hear about globally. This would be a global draw in the Octagon. UFC has arrived. Now, Floyd is going to say, turnabout is fair play. I'm going to beat you at your own game.
No.
I beat you at my game. I'm going to beat you at your game.
No.
Yes.
No. I get it, Skip. Like, okay, if Michael Jordan were to challenge Tiger Woods on the golf course, Tiger must give Michael strokes.
Sure.
But if they went to the basketball court, Jordan must give Tiger points. But in fighting, Skip, there is nothing. You don't give anybody, say, well, your handicap is this. What you do, you go in there and you try to kick, land point, whatever it is, to try to get the guy up out of there. That's not what Floyd is.
You know what I think happened? This is what I believe.
What you think happened?
I believe that during that boxing match, that Floyd Mayweather Jr. looked into Conor McGregor's eyes, and because when you're standing toe-to-toe, jaw-to-jaw, you look in a man's eyes and you look down into his soul, and he said, I can impose my will on this man.
Yes,
right?
with boxing gloves.
With any gloves.
No.
Yes,
no.
That's what he decided, that he is inferior to me as a competitor. And this is a manhood thing where he just decided, I'm better than he is no matter what the rules are. As long as I can use these, I got you. And what happened, I think he also, even though he was amused by Conor McGregor, I think Conor legitimately said some things that got way under Floyd's skin.
That's okay. Skip, Dr. Johnson has a famous quote. He says, almost every man will waste part of his life trying to possess qualities he does not have.
Who's Dr. Johnson? Samuel Johnson?
Yeah.
You're quoting Samuel Johnson on Undisputed?
He said almost every man will waste part of his life trying to possess qualities he does not have in an attempt to gain applause for which he cannot keep. I don't care what.
I can't even process that. I got to think.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing with the Miles and Yak?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Here's the thing, Skip. No matter what Floyd does, eventually the applause will stop. But you going to get your head beat in, Floyd, you didn't take a whole lot of punches to the head.
Is he not the greatest defensive fighter ever? So he figures.
Yeah, because he knew there were only so many punches you can throw.
Yep.
The jab, the hook, the uppercut.
So he's just thinking, as long as I can use these, as long as I can avoid, as long as he doesn't get a hold of me and take me to the mat.
That's over.
No, that's it.
Conor can do all of that.
Yeah.
He come up and Skip.
But he's thinking, with these little gloves on, I just rat-a-tat-tat on his face.
Well, first of all, you already know Floyd had brittle hands. He hit Conor upside his head one time, and it doesn't hit him flush. He gonna break a hand. Then what? And see, you can't be. They don't care nothing about that.
Then what? I'm gonna be seeing Floyd Sr. after the fight. That's where I'm gonna.
No.
I'm gonna say I want my grand back.
Floyd. Let it go. This is
He
not
can't.
what
He can't save himself from himself.
I mean,
you know it, and I know
I
it.
do know it, but it's not.
What would he make for this? Could he?
I don't care.
$600 million?
I don't want no butt cutting.
Huh?
I don't want no butt cutting.
Yeah, but if he just thinks I could survive it, like.
He can't.
Yeah.
But if he could just survive.
Well, that's what he's
$600
thinking.
million?
$600 million. Double.
You
could double what he got for the boxing.
What good if you?
I don't know. I'll think about it.
What good if you?
$600 million? I'll think about it.
What good is $600 million if you don't know who you are and where you are?
You're not gonna get beat that bad.
Oh, you can't. That's what Dooku Kim said too. He thought that too.
Anyway, it took a little
Kim?
over 2 years to put together the boxing fight, and it's only
So Floyd,
that fight was in August, so there's plenty of time.
So Floyd gonna be 43 by the time this fight happens.
Well, you don't know.
I do know.
Vegas has already put it on the board. Of course, Conor's a massive favorite.
Oh, you would think.
No mercy. Hey, Villanova and Michigan square off in the national championship game tonight. Nova is the biggest favorite in the title game since 2010, and they just shattered a Final Four record with 18 three-pointers on Saturday, but Michigan has won 14 straight. Shannon, who wins tonight?
I got Nova. Skip, we've never seen anybody shoot the three like this in the Final Four game.
Ever. Nope.
And of their 6 top players, 5 of them are upperclassmen. Jalen Brunson was a freshman starter on that national championship team. He happened to be National Player of the Year. They're deep, Skip. They don't have a big team, but they got everybody that can put the ball on the floor, and everybody can shoot the three.
Yep.
So I expect them to continue. I don't know if they'll make 18 threes, but they'll make enough of those to beat Michigan tonight. Even when they shot 3 or 24, they've beaten everybody by double figures.
Yep.
They're loaded.
They had one cold three-point shooting game against Texas Tech in this tournament. They shot 4 for 24, but Tech shot 5 for 20. And Villanova got to the free throw line 35 times and made 29, so that'll offset that.
Yes.
But I will remind you, Michigan is the best at defending the three in this tournament. They're holding teams to 24%, and they can play defense, so it's a matter of, are the threes going to fall or not? It's just hard for me to bet against experience and a team that has constantly been hot. This is the greatest three-point shooting team we've seen in the history of this tournament. They broke the record. So I'm going to think that they make enough threes to survive a lower scoring game. I'm going to say it's 70-60 Villanova.
Yeah, Bridges and Booth, who are starters now, they came off the bench for that national championship team. So they got enough depth and enough experience in this ball game. I don't think they'll be an all the moment. And it's good to see Jay Wright finally get the credit that he deserves, Skip. Most people look at him and like, man, he really dapper. He dabbing there. The dude can flat out coach.
He can.
He can't dress O'Shea Sharp, but he can coach them games now. O'Shea Sharp.
You went one step too far.
Had
it.
You know what?
You blew it.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.